This is technically my third gig for 2026 and we're only in February, so clock it. It is my responsibility to play music, bring the energy, bring the vibes, and I have a few things that I learned in my last event and I want to make sure I incorporate it this time. One of those being I need to focus on maybe curating the experience where I'm playing per genre instead of like bouncing around. My last event, I was bouncing around and it wasn't my favorite per se, but this time around I realized that I enjoy genre hopping. And so now I'm pretty much getting ready. I can show you my layout. So I typically have a checklist on my iPad and I'll show you that. That just pretty much just runs down like everything I need to have for the event. And right now, what I'm doing is I'm testing all of my equipment just to make sure I have everything for my checklist. And that'll buy me some time. So once I make sure I have everything, then I can start packing my car, I can get dressed, and at the last minute, what I can do is finalize what I'm gonna play, download my music, pretty much have my playlist, but the next thing will be download music if I have time, create my crates, and hopefully be up and ready to set up by 7 o'clock. 1, 2, 3. So right now I am testing out my equipment to make sure I have everything. Like the worst thing that could happen, fingers crossed, is I forget something. So what I try to do before the event is make sure my mics are working, I have my turntables, I have my cords, I have my laptop, I have everything I need in order for this event to go well. Because once you got the equipment set up, now you just gotta perform. So I'm testing the mics. You know, it's so funny because when you don't use it, you lose it. So what I try to do is keep a checklist that I have so I know exactly what I need as I'm preparing for the event. So I'm testing out the mics. And I'm also adding labels so I know which mic to connect the label, which channel I need to connect the mic to. It's a lot of things that go into it, especially if you want a successful event. And you know what I want? I want them to hire me again. I want them to hire me, Chad, again. I want them to be like, oh my gosh. And I'm not gonna lie, another thing I also did too, and I may not do it again, is I'm tired of people saying, I can only afford you to do this. All of the equipment that I'm bringing makes me professional enough for you to pay me more than that. But because I'm new, I'm gonna give you grace. And that's one thing I don't like. Everybody's like, oh, I can only afford this. And it's like, but you have all of these expectations of how things should be ran and blah, blah, blah. And I understand that. We're all creatives trying to create. But you gotta respect the quality that I bring to the environment. And that's my thing. Respect the quality. So for those of you who are on the come up as DJs, know your worth, man, because if you don't know it, people will take advantage. If you're starting out and you don't really know just yet, that's fine. But at least if you're investing in equipment, at least have some type of base rate. That's what I'm realizing. Because it takes time to do all of this. Channel 3. So I am on my way to the event and I'm excited, but also like, solely because I don't know this lady. This is like my first referral. And I think what makes this experience exciting is it's like, okay, this is a new experience and they don't know me, I don't know them. And I could kind of tell that they, you know, didn't really trust. They seem a bit reluctant, let's say that, because I sent the lady my contract. I sent the contract, and one thing about it, two things for sure: make sure you draft up a contract, because I've noticed people will play in your face if you let them. So I drafted up the contract, and that's just, I request payment before the event, and then I also request the contract to be signed before the event. When I had the conversation with the event organizer, they were like, okay, I'll have this to you at this time, no problem. Cool. Now it's the day of the event. They're requesting me to provide a report. I give that to them. I tell them if they need final changes, it needs to be sent to me at this time. And now, mind you, I will say they did book me literally 48 hours before the event. So I'm not too mad at that, but have a sense of urgency.
Turn left onto South
because what it sounds like is you were just gonna have somebody play some music. And if you want somebody to give you a vibe, you need to pay them for their time, period. So, so yeah, I think what makes this event so different is I had to work today.
Turn left.
I only had technically a couple of hours to to prepare. And now I'm just kind of like, I hope that this lady, one, pays me, so there's no problems that I can set up. Or if she doesn't, I'm not doing anything until I get my payment. I'm standing 10 toes down. I don't know who she is or who she thinks she is. But if you're gonna do business, do it the right way. So there's that. I will keep you all posted. I'm trying to get as much footage as I can. If I cannot, then I'll just give you all an update once I come back. But I'm hoping that I can give you all an update as I go and give you all some B-roll. Okay, I'm back, y'all. I was like, let me make this video before I actually forget. So if I could rate this experience, it would be, with this most recent DJ client, it would be a 4 out of 10, solely because of the attitude, their professionalism. Like, I understand you may have a lot going on, but somebody's coming out here to do a service for you. So what I learned in this situation was properly vet people. Don't do DJ gigs at the last minute. Another thing I will also recommend is determine the vibe and what the expectation is beforehand. Before you do anything regarding setting up, preparing, promoting, make sure they sign a contract. Don't base it off of like a promise note, or a verbal agreement. Base it off of you drafting up a motherfucking contract. They choose to sign it. And then at that point, you can start preparing. I felt like the lady, it was very distasteful and honestly unprofessional for her to say she was going to do something, and then when the time came around, she didn't do it. And I understand it's busy. If it's so busy, don't hire a DJ. That's just what it comes down to. If it's that busy, don't hire a DJ. And so I want to say this will go in the books as like one of my least favorite events, but I learned so many lessons. Like, make sure you scope out the place beforehand. Make sure they sign a contract. Make sure you get your money. Also, all forms of payment, she ignored completely. Hey y'all, my camera cut out, but essentially there's a lot of lessons that we learn as we grow in our careers as DJs. I will say I learned a lot of lessons in this moment with who to work with, you know, how to manage like the work, and honestly learning how to be more selective of who you choose to work with. And this was a bit disappointing, and of course it felt very distasteful, but these are great lessons to learn early in my career as a DJ, because
it gives you like what your boundaries are when it comes down to business. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you all gained some insight, and thank you all for watching.